Welcome to this week's episode of Humans in 5.
As we all continue to exist in our homes more intimately than ever before, a lot of us are starting to notice some quirks about how we move in these ever-familiar spaces. We might find ourselves tinkering with home decor, making little adjustments as we move from room to room, seeking to craft the most comfortable abode.
That being said, let me describe a situation I've been noticing more and more. If you're like me, you're lucky enough to have at least one doorway in your home. So let's say you're standing in your kitchen and then suddenly realize you need to grab your lip balm from the bathroom. You move through the bathroom doorway, and almost as soon as you cross the threshold, the memory of what you were going to get has utterly disappeared. You return to the kitchen, wondering why you budged in the first place, only to realize soon thereafter that you completely forgot about that lip balm.
Does this sound familiar? I know it does for me. The scenario where moving from one room to another causes you to completely forget the task at hand is so common, scientists have even given it a name: the doorway effect. So what causes this lapse in memory? Why do we forget what we're doing as soon as we go through a doorway?
The good news is this phenomena doesn't mean you're suffering from forgetfulness. In general, our brains are constantly running little programmed systems of behaviors. We tend to do similar things in similar orders, and our brain catalogs these sequences of concrete events during our lives. This handy trick relates to the fact that our memories are episodic. We rarely remember entire continuous chains of events. Rather, we tend to remember segmented series of concrete actions.
Our brains also tend to run these sequences based on the situation or environment we find ourselves in. For example, we tend to wash our hands in the bathroom. So when entering the bathroom, our brains will remember, right, in the bathroom, I get some soap, I turn on the tap, and I wash my hands.
The trouble is that our brains are so good at executing certain sequences in certain environments and spaces that even if we just cross through a doorway to enter a new space to do a specific task, our brains essentially reboot. Our brains recognize the new space and cut off the old chain of thought to recall the sequence of events that we typically engage in when we're in that new space. Some scientists call this the location updating effect.
So, as you move from the kitchen to the bathroom to get that lip balm, as you cross that threshold, your brain might instead reset and remember that this is the place where we wash our hands and start to cue up the hand washing sequences instead of the grab that darned lip balm sequence.
Interestingly, this process of updating when we pass through a doorway is so ingrained that it even holds when we're experiencing a virtual world. Researchers at the University of Notre Dame found that when playing a specially designed video game, participants would forget tasks whether or not they were meant to be moving objects between rooms as soon as they crossed through a virtual doorway.
The real question is, what can we do when we find ourselves getting caught in these location-based loops? There isn't really much we can do when experiencing the doorway effect. It's not an issue with our overall memories, more a cognitive subroutine that most people share and have some trouble shaking.
We hope you aren't having too much trouble keeping tabs of your tasks while moving around your home, and we'll see you next time on Humans in 5.
And don't forget to subscribe!